expression that we use in our writing, we try to use in our writing, to make our writing a little bit more interesting to read to the reader. We're also going to be introducing the word of the week, and I'll talk about that after I get done introducing the idiom of the week. The idiom of the week is like bumps on a log, and I was walking back to my office last week, and Ms. Cheney was on her way to Related Arts with her class, and she said, "Mr. Davison, my class read something out of the kindergarten sleuth book this week. It was called When the Lights Went Out. And when the lights went out, the characters in the story," was it the mom or the dad, girls?
The dad.
The dad. The dad, they were all sitting around in the dark because the lights went out. And what did the dad say?
We don't have to sit here like bumps on a log.
We don't have to sit here like bumps on a log. So do you know what that means, girls?
It means you sit around and do nothing.
It means that you're just sitting around doing nothing. So, like bumps on a log means you are not doing anything. You're kind of acting a little lazy when you're like bumps on a log. So boys and girls, we don't want you to be bumps on a log in your classrooms. We want you to participate a little bit more in your education. So don't just sit around doing nothing. So thank you, Ms. Cheney's class, for introducing that to the school. And also, girls, thank you for coming on. I want you to stay here for a minute because I was sitting there thinking about the characters that lost power, and then I thought it's perfect that I have a third grader with me because the third graders this year started a story in their core book called When Charlie McButton Lost Power. So I just want to mention that, you know, when you sit in one book and you have an event happen, and then you think about another book where the same thing has happened, that's called a text-to-text connection. And so even across the grade levels, from kindergarten to third grade, we can have a text-to-text connection for our comprehension. The power went out in that story too. And did Charlie McButton sit like a bump on a log? Do you remember, Jack, from way back the first week?
Not really.
No, he didn't, did he? What did he do? Do you remember?
He was active. He was looking for batteries to play a game.
That's right. He lost all of his technology. He was looking for batteries, couldn't find them, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else happened? What did he do in the end? Do you remember? It's a long time ago, so I don't know if he's going to remember this.
Well, the power came back on, and I don't really know.
He doesn't remember. That's okay. We don't. I mean, there's so much. What did the characters in this story do?
They played a board of the boys.
They played board games. Charlie played. They played board games in the kindergarten sleuth story. In Charlie McButton, he played with his little sister. There's probably third graders out there going, he played with his little sister. Remember? They played like castles and dragons and slew the dragons and all that other stuff. But anyway, we're off task a little bit just to talk about that connection. I did want to bring Jack on the news because Jack, as a second grader, submitted a word, our word of the week, bewildered. He submitted it because he read it in a book from Beverly Cleary called Ribsy. And the sentence was, bewildered and half awake, Ribsy sat up. And then this year again, apparently because I didn't pick the cards last year, I was going through the cards, and lo and behold, whose card do I find but Jack submitted another slip with the same word. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, for 2 slips in a row, this kid must really want to come on the news and introduce this to the school. This time, the word bewildered was in Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling, and it said, looked at her mind bewildered. So if somebody sits up bewildered and half awake, and somebody looks at another character bewildered, bewildered is a word that means you're confused. You are perplexed, baffled, puzzled, or kind of clueless about something if you're bewildered. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You looked it up?
No.
Or you just figured it out from reading?
I used other words to help me find the meaning.
He used context clues or other words around the word that you're trying to figure out what it means. And also, I want to just review quickly. Bewildered has an ending of ED. Remember, boys and girls, you're going to want to remember what is the last sound in bewilder. Bewilder. If your voice comes from deep in your throat, the ED ending is D. Bewildered. Not bewildered. We don't say bewildered. It's bewildered. All right, Jack, thanks for submitting these 2 years in a row. And I want to just make 2 public service announcements, just that tomorrow night is McDonald's night, just to remind everybody for the first grade team. And also it's benchmark testing. It's going to start now, today, and go through 2 weeks. So when you're moving around the campus, please be considerate of all the students in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade who may be taking their benchmark assessments